One of the defining characteristics of human beings is a desire for glory, right? We look at a mountain and we're like, I'm going to climb that. And we don't necessarily know why we want to climb it, but when we get to the top, there's that feeling of accomplishment, right? You think of athletes and scientists and scholars and people throughout all of human history have done some amazing things. And at the root of it, or one of the roots of it, is a desire for glory, right? But what's interesting about God is he, like so many things in our lives, he takes this desire for glory and he doesn't squash it and say that's ridiculous. He just shifts it a little bit and gives us a really interesting example of what he sees as glorious, the ultimate glory. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the cross. I'm talking about death. The most glorious thing that has ever happened in the history of humanity was the death and resurrection of Jesus. When Jesus was hanging on the cross, that was glory. But in the eyes of the world, it was a complete failure, right? I mean, most people who look at the cross see a broken, bleeding, suffering loser. But what a Christian sees, and what the good news is we know that that action, when he's up there on the cross with his arms out wide, he's inviting us into his glory because we know and he knows what's coming next. 3 days later, he's going to rise. And that changes everything. So now, death is not something we need to fear or something that we need to flee from. In fact, he's totally twisted it. Now death has become a source of glory. How crazy is that? And it's only by putting on the mind of Christ, by following him, by saying yes to him, and actually dying to ourselves and becoming his disciple, that we achieve glory. So, you could actually say that glory equals death. Not in the traditional sense, not in the way the world views it, but through Christ's eyes. Because Christ understands that if you die with him, you will also rise with him. We want to achieve glory. We do. It's who we are. But the only way we're really going to do it, the only way we're going to make that maximum glory, is by dying with Christ and rising with him. Because the most glorious people in the world are those in heaven, the saints in heaven. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's be glorious.